Oh yeah, he's back. The crack of the bat, the ping of the crossbar, and the roar of the crowd. We cover everything you want to talk about. It's the Rod Pedersen Show.
Good morning, Canada. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show. And Canadian sports fans around the world, thanks for joining us for coffee this morning. On this Wednesday, November the 13th, we're coming to you from the bunker in beautiful Western Canada, where it is warming up, the thermometer says. And I'm your host, Rod Pedersen. He's the co-host over there on his phone, Darren DuPont.
Yep.
It's like I'm chocolate, he's nuts. Is that fair?
I love, a little almond bark.
Yeah, exactly. It is beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
It is.
The Duke joins us here for the rollout for Flooring Superstores. How you doing, Duke?
I'm fantastic.
You're looking good, as always. The best-dressed guy in the panel.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Pretty sharp.
Yeah, he is pretty sharp. Sharper than the edge of town, this guy. It is episode number 114 of the Rod Pedersen Show. That means we will be honoring number 14s in sports history because we haven't quite made it through all the numbers. And for me, there's just one that I'll point out, and that is one, Jordan Eberle.
Oh, Theo.
Theo, sorry, there's two. Jordan Eberle, Theo Fleury, Oilers and Flames stars. But that'll be a fun thing. What are your favorite number 14s throughout this program? Sabi?
Yeah, Dennis Sobchuk.
Yeah, for Lang? Okay, stop. We can go on for hours on this. So you got these two jabronis here in the bunker with me. Guests coming up on the program. I'm pretty excited about Nick Lewis. CFL's all-time receiving king will be in the bunker. I'm not totally sure how Clark lined that up. I know why. It's because he's Nick Lewis. But the funny thing is, apparently Nick Lewis said to Clark, by the end of the show, Rod's going to love me.
I think you don't.
I don't have a problem with Nick Lewis.
Don't you love him before the show?
Yeah, I've never had a problem with Nick Lewis. Now, he was a Calgary Stampeder in the heyday of the hate. I hated him then, but I would suggest when the game was over and we left the stadium, we left that behind, didn't we?
I would say,
or at least I did.
I would say Nick Lewis was also one guy that you did like to hate when the game was on, but he was kind of a colorful character.
Oh, yeah. He was great for the CFL.
He was absolutely great for the CFL.
Great quote, and he will be here in the bunker, and I thank Nick for that and for Clark for lining him up. Our NHL insider, one of them, as I look at the board. Rich Sutter's on, is he not? Yeah, Richie. Dan Rashovich will be here, Rider Hall of Famer, and former CFL receiver, particularly with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Maurice Mann. And I'm looking forward to that chat. Now, I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball at you folks today with no Don Cherry talk. I'm Don Cherried out. I've heard people say on social media they're Don Cherried out. Mm-hmm. And, the latest take on this is the comments from Jessica Allen from the Social. I didn't know who she was. People are sending me her comments. I'm like, I don't care.
No.
Now, but, she took this swipe at white Canadian hockey players and just, wow.
Move along.
Not a good look.
And says that I don't care about hockey and I don't care about white hockey, rich kids. And I'm like, well, that's discriminatory. That's narrow-minded. So, but I don't want to go down that road. But the only poll question, however, the only thing we'll do with that is the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. Clark and I put our heads together on this one and came up with this. Who should replace Don Cherry on Coach's Corner? And these were the options we came up with. Brian Burke, Tiger Williams, Haley Wickenheiser, or Colby Armstrong. And if there was a fifth option, I would have loved to have put other. But that's what we're asking people to vote on today. Why did you just roll your eyes?
What about Rod Pedersen?
Nah, I don't think so.
No, not there.
And you guys were wondering why I would say Tiger. Tiger had told me that he has long been approached by CBC and Hockey Night in Canada to fill that role or be the next guy.
It's funny because how many times has your phone blown up? I know I've gotten messages, hey, there's an opening now on the network for you. And I'm like, that's not like a broadcast opening, like a traditional broadcast opening. Like that's not something that I'm even in the realm of, like, I'm not even in that universe.
No, but I will say this about Grapes. I mean, 40 some years, one of the strongest brands in Canadian history. But everything does come to an end, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. I mean, Grapes, thanks for everything and all the great things he's done for hockey and the military and you name it. But it is over, and it looks like he's ready for it to be over. But that's our poll question today. And maybe write in with a vote. If you don't like any of the four options, let us know. Just some hellos today because we are live. We are interactive here. Our good friend Mike Lee checking in from Honolulu, Hawaii.
I know.
Good morning, Mike.
I
Still got your jammies on?
yeah,
It's like 6 a.m. over there.
probably, the sun is just coming up and it's nice and warm, and listening to the ocean roll
Can we do the
up.
show from Maui?
Yeah, can we take it?
He wants us to.
I'd do it.
He wants it. Can you get Paul on that? Where's Paul, by the way? Doing business?
Well, if Mike's going to fund it, we don't need Paul.
Yeah.
We can just do it.
Obviously, everybody has tuned in for the CFL talk, and that's why I said it's not really a curveball to say that we're going to jump right into the CFL talk, but that is what we're going to do. It was what made me think of it. Where's the guy from Winnipeg? Colin Andrews says, "Good morning, gents from Winnipeg. Good morning, Winnipeg, and see you soon." Right? Because they're all coming here this weekend. I got people writing me for tickets for the Rider game on Sunday. I'm like, listen.
There's still tickets available.
Yeah, buy them. Thank you for saying that.
There's actually, I checked this morning, there's a number of tickets available, and I'm trying to figure out why. Some of them are like $75. So that's part of the reason. Probably.
That is a question for another show, because we're going to talk about the game. But our business development director over there, Tyler, just yelled from the couch, the sponsor's couch, Seat Giant. So go on seatgiant.ca to purchase your tickets for Sunday's West Final. Seatgiant.ca is very simple to purchase your tickets there. And speaking of sales, I got to do one last thing. Welcome Wendell Clark Saskatoon as our newest sponsor. And awesome. I know the boys, Doyle and Gary, are watching this morning. They're going to be airing the show, if they're not already, every day in Wendell Clark's in Saskatoon. I love the marriage. Tyler says that this show's very big in Saskatoon, which dupes you and I know, because we do spend a fair amount of time there.
Oh, yeah.
And they tell us that. And it's just funny to be working with Wendell Clark, partnered with Wendell Clark's, because Wendell... I didn't necessarily really like Wendell. I loved him as a Leaf, but I didn't like him as a Blade. And for me, he would always be a Blade. Sure. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
And if you know the Clarks at all, do you know the Clarks? You must know the Clarks.
Yep.
I know them all. They're very rough around the edges, very crusty. And Wendell still is, and Donnie, God bless his soul, that's the way he was. They got hearts this big, right? That's the whole thing about the Clarks. They're gruff and stuff, and I think Wendell's a little not as crusty as he used to be. Certainly when he played.
Right.
He's not running around knocking guys out.
No. So not doing that in the restaurant.
So
business.
I will say this about Wendell Clark's. I stopped in there on the way to a Rush game. I was by myself, and I said to the server, "What's the best thing on the menu here? What's the most popular thing?" She said, "Fish and chips." And I said, "What's great about fish and chips?" I know. I don't ever order it. It's the most calorie-rich thing you can order. She goes, "We crush the salt and vinegar chips, roll the fish in the salt and vinegar and deep fry it." Oh, my knees got weak.
You weren't watching.
And now I'll never order anything else but the fish and chips at Wendell Clark's in Saskatoon.
I think that's why the food's so good. Because they're all worried that Wendell's going to be around the corner waiting to drop a bomb.
Yeah. So my point, listen, it was a Pat's Blades thing. That's why I wasn't a fan of Wendell. I've done a lot of events with Wendell. I love him, and I'm just so happy that we got that together. So thanks, Gary and Doyle and the crew up there, and of course Wendell. So listen, here's to the main stuff here in the rollout for Flooring Superstore. Day one of rider practice today, guys.
Interesting.
You saw... Actually, there's breaking news from the riders. Derek, do you want to mention that?
Well, I haven't read it yet, but they are doing some work to team up to honor a legend, George Reed, with the city. They're actually pleased to announce that a section of 10th Avenue will be renamed in honor of Rough Rider legend George Reed. So it'll be called George Reed Way. It'll begin at Alfredstone and run west along the stadium to Crescent Point Energy Gate 2. So basically just outside there.
Perfect. George Reed Way.
George Reed Way.
Love it. Nice move.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
now
classic.
They got to win a football game on Sunday, and so back to day one. It's a closed practice to the public, but it's open to the media, and they don't practice till afternoon. Right? I'm loving indoors at Everest Place, which is fine. Do whatever you got to do, Dickie, and you know that he will. Like, this is coach's discretion as to whether you're going to open practice, whether you're going to close it, let the media in, or don't. I'm fairly sure, and you tell me if you think I'm wrong, the media will be told what they can and can't report. They're always told what they can and can't shoot. Like, what are you expecting for coverage out of rider practice today? Day one as it pertains to Cody Fajardo.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. That's the news.
That's all it is. And I don't know that they're going to be told what they can and cannot report. They're going to report what they see.
Of course.
I know
Really?
we're going to get it on Twitter. Where someone's going to tweet it. He's not going to. I don't think he's going to gather them around before practice and be like, okay, you can say this, you can't say this, you can't say this. If they're gonna let the media in, they're gonna be able to report on what they see. And I think we're going to know.
It's been my history otherwise, but continue.
I have never been told that. And
Okay.
it has been suggested things that maybe leave out, but sorry, if I see it, it's fair game.
So if Cody Fajardo is throwing or not throwing,
100%,
you
I'm
believe we'll
reporting that.
know within minutes.
We'll know within minutes. I think we'll know if we're going to be watching how he walks onto the practice field. If he's limping, if he's not, if he's tender, if he's not, if he's got any extra tape on. We're going to know every little detail about Cody Fajardo. But I would expect him to come out and take a lot of the first team reps.
I'm surprised that nobody has gone down the Cody Fajardo is now, partnered with the Hospitals of Regina. There's a picture of him, and they're holding a baby in a car seat. Nobody's analyzing how heavy that baby looks and how much that car seat is, because is his right hand holding that car seat up from the back, and how much stress would that put on that oblique muscle? And that conspiracy isn't out there. I was waiting for that one. I was
not
quite
yet.
excited.
They just tweeted the photo this morning.
My guess is that he will be out there. Tomorrow is a closed practice from everybody.
Okay.
I would think that is going to be the real telltale. I would almost, quite honestly, expect him not to do a ton today, whether he's ready to or not, in front of the viewing eyes of the media. This is cloak and dagger time. This is time to say, oh, geez, we just don't know, and you want to have Winnipeg guessing as much as possible, I think.
And by the way, you got to forgive the Riders if they pull your leg a little or fib to the world. Marshall Hamilton said it best on our TV show last night. It's like poker. Poker face and bluffing, and that's what it is this time of year.
Winnipeg did it last week with Strevler.
Exactly.
He can't even walk. I mean, we're going to have to amputate his leg second half. I mean, I think he maybe ran just about as many snaps as Zach Collaros did.
But when's the last time Cody Fajardo threw a football in a game? It's been
a while.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, but we don't know how many times he's throwing inside. I mean,
that's true. They still need to be prepared for a Western final. You can do all this time holding him back, not putting him in practice, but you got to make sure you're sharp and make sure you're ready.
Yeah, but Collaros didn't throw a football in a game for an entire almost full season.
True.
And he's looked okay.
Wayne in Victoria, BC, chiming in this morning. He says, I think Cody will play this game no matter what. It won't be a repeat of last year. I've gone on record as believing he'll play too. The question is, how close to 100% is he? This is how diagnosed this is, or not diagnosed, I guess, but how much is being discussed around here. Like Tom Shepard, we were with yesterday, the owner of the Riders, saying that, on that oblique, it may affect your velocity and your timing and how well you can throw the ball. And he's probably right. Tom's been around a long time. He's in the Hall of Fame. I've got sports therapists on Twitter that I'm reading, friends of mine that are saying maybe it's not even an oblique at all.
That's my question too.
A franchise that has been notoriously guarded with all their information is just going to throw out casually that's an oblique muscle strain?
I was quite surprised when it was like pinpointed. Oh, this is what it is. Really? That's the first time I've ever heard anybody actually pinpoint what an actual injury is. I mean,
especially for a guy who has a chance to play.
Everything is either upper body, lower body, outer body, and all of a sudden we're pinpointing it's his right oblique. That just seemed kind of
a little odd.
Well, it did seem a little bit. Now, I will say, Craig Dickinson, the head coach, the guy that runs this team, is a very upfront, open guy. Has been in his entire 2 decades in this league. That would lead to kind of his mantra. He doesn't hold back a whole bunch. He's kind of a tell you how it is guy.
Yep.
So it would surprise me less under his era. Under Chris Jones's era, you wouldn't have a clue if this is an ingrown toenail or if he was starting to go bald. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have a clue what was the matter with Cody Fajardo. So it is a little different with Craig Dickinson here. So I'm not saying that they're making stuff up. You could see it actually coming out.
We've got all these people writing in from Winnipeg this morning saying, good morning from Winnipeg. And we'll say, good morning back to you, Winnipeg. I mean, these are the storylines here. Obviously, Cody Fajardo's health status, which we'll maybe have an idea by the end of the day what that is. And then once that's determined, if we do know before game time whether he starts or not, it's going to become Zach Collaros' return to Riderville. Whether you like the storyline or not, it's going to be. I'd like to know from Winnipeg, what are the storylines that you folks have? We'll get into that and more when we come back. I want to talk about are the Hamilton Tiger Cats for real, of course. We have not spent enough time on that, and they're hosting the East Final on Sunday. BC Lions, reports out of BC, a couple of them, are that Paul LaPolice is desired by Ed Hervey to be the next head coach there. And did you guys say that Rick Dollywall said on this show last week that Gary Drummond might be the next owner of the BC Lions?
He absolutely.
How did you not jump all over that one?
Because I was like, I thought he was in the East with the Schooners.
Yeah, well, we all thought that. But this is the Regina billionaire, former owner of the Arizona Coyotes, now rumored to be the next owner, potentially the BC Lions. Hey, Canada-Russia Super Series tonight, right?
Yeah,
there is a pregame event at Wendell Clark's in Saskatoon. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Saw it on Facebook.
That's exciting.
So head to Wendell Clark's before the game, and then PA tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's that. A lot of things to get to. That's some of your sports on tap tonight.
Whoa, it's a big night.
For Ballers. We'll be right back. This has been the Rollout for Flooring Superstore on Facebook Live and rodpeterson.com.
You're watching Rod Peterson on demand. For more of The Rod Peterson Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Peterson on social media.